So the game we're about to play is called Plants vs. Zombies. At its core, it's a very simple game. It's a zombie invasion where they're trying to get into your house with the purpose of getting to you to eat your brains. Pretty much like every zombie story you've ever heard. And so in order to defend your house, you are going to use plants. You see these very different things up here? These are all plants that you are going to use in the defense of your home to keep these zombies from eating your brains. And so you're going to build up your defenses by using these sun or solar units in order to power your plants, because that's what plants run on. And so you're going to build up ways to collect more sun, and at least during the daytime, solar units are going to fall from the sky. So as you just saw, we had placed a mine, that's this one here, in order to basically blow up an area where a zombie might show up to keep them from getting to us. Now, I've got all different kinds of things. So this one here is, they call it a snow pea. Effectively, it's a pea shooter that shoots frozen peas at a zombie so that it doesn't just hit them with the pea, it also slows them down. Here's a regular pea shooter. It's shooting peas at them, not slowing it down. You also got some other options up here. So you've got an explosive. You've got a cherry bomb. You've got a walnut, so this is a wall to keep them from making forward progress. And they've got to deal with that wall before they can get any closer to you. You've already seen the mine. And as you go on in the game, more and more options are going to come available to you. So effectively, what you're doing in these boards is you're creating a system to keep you protected from the various zombies that are trying to come and eat your brain. And if all you had to deal with was these guys, kind of look like fallen down characters in zombie outfits, and maybe occasionally Mr. Fashionable with the traffic cone on his head, this would be a very easy game. But games, just like life, are going to throw variation at you. You're going to have different situations to deal with. So you're going to have different zombies to fight. Some of them are going to be faster. Some of them are going to be slower. Some of them are going to be stronger. You're going to have different situations to deal with. It's not always going to be daytime. And as you can imagine, when it's not daytime, you're not going to have sun falling from the sky like this. You're going to have to generate it all yourself. And so there's a lot of different situations that you've got to face. And if your simple goal is, I just want to keep them away from my house so that they don't eat my brains, then your system has a very simple goal, and you can put it together any number of ways you want. You can use any combination of the various plant items that they're going to give you in order to accomplish that goal. But here's the reality. Like life, it's going to throw different situations at you. So we've already mentioned day and night. And at night, you're not going to have as much sun, you're not going to have any sun coming from the sky. You're going to have to generate it all. But also, you're going to have different plants. Not all kinds of plants work at nighttime. And so you're going to have more mushrooms than you are flowers, because those thrive at nighttime. You're going to have times where there's going to be water. So this is currently the front yard of the house. There's also a backyard of the house, which they will try to attack you from, and you will have to defend. Toward the end of the game, they're going to get to where they're going to try and attack on your roof and come down your chimney. And your roof is not going to be flat. So a lot of the pea shooters like these that just shoot in a straight line, they're not going to work because they're going to be coming from higher ground. And so you're going to need different types of plants in order to be able to attack at an incline. And so there's a lot of different ways that the situations, the types of zombies that they throw at you, And the types of situations that you're having to defend in are going to change how you have to approach putting together your system or putting together your goal. Now, as you can see, over time, because there's sun coming from the sky and these guys are continuously pumping out sun, I'm starting to build up more than I can really use. I mean, if I want to just go hog wild, I could start, putting out a whole bunch of bombs or, a whole bunch of mines and just spending for the sake of spending. But the reality is what I've got so far is enough. With what they're sending at me, I'm not really in any danger. Most of them don't even get past this third column here. So I can pretty much go forward with just what I have, and that will be fine. Now, in later boards where they're sending way more zombies at you, stronger, faster, different types, that's not necessarily going to work. But for this situation, it's probably enough. Now, think about times when it's not all good. There's not kind of money flowing from the heavens, so to speak. We're getting ready to head into a recession. So that's a great example of times where, excess money, excess production is not readily available. And you're going to have to find ways to do things on the cheap. There are going to be times where you can't afford to lose anything that you've invested in. So all of this stuff here, because I've got excess, if any of these were destroyed, I could put down a replacement. But that's not always going to be the case. Sometimes I'm going to have to build to make sure that none of my stuff gets taken down. And so if you think about it, depending on your full objective, the terrain, the time of day, the type of enemies, what you're dealing with in terms of resources, you may find that it's necessary to put different systems in place. And so a game like this gives you the opportunity, because you can always replay a level, to say, okay, beyond just the basic description of I don't want them to eat my brains, if I look at this from a different perspective and say, okay, now I want to see how I can do this as cheap as possible. I don't want to spend any more than I absolutely have to. How can I do that? And how can I play test that? I want to, make the most bomb defense force that's ever existed, so they never get past the second line, or heck, they never get past the first line. How would I do that? There's different ways of being able to create a system to accomplish those goals, and you'll find in life, just like in business, just like in gaming, different situations are going to call for that. So this gives you an opportunity to kind of go into that level of systems thinking, which is very important if you're going to do transformation, change management, process improvement, the things that help you to increase your cash flow, to increase your profits, to stay in business. And this is fundamental to staying in business. If you can't pivot like this and create systems that allow you to survive, thrive, and scale, you're going to be out of business. So stay with us. We're going to talk a bit more about how this game and games like this give you the ability to test out these systems concepts, and why using something like this is very beneficial if you're going to be in the process improvement or transformation space. So stay tuned. We've got more to come.